Hey guys, it's Lockie, recording through phone and recording in the middle of a car park, talking to himself. Alright, so Midsommar by Ari Aster, the director, who brought out the excellent horror hit, probably even a classic, Hereditary. Don't mind me, you can see my double chin there. Yuck, I need a shave. Lockie movie reviews, the most unprofessional movie reviews ever, possibly. Alright, so Midsommar was a fascinating film. It did not screen in my city at all. My girlfriend and I actually had to travel to another city called Byron Bay, which is like over an hour and a half away to watch this film. You could tell how dedicated I am to movies if I can have to drive to a whole nother city to see this film. But real question is, was it worth it? Oh, my hair's not bad. The answer is, yeah, I think it was worth it. Our Midsommar stars Florence Pugh, probably mispronounced that name horrifically, as Danny, a woman who's going through some very troubling grief within her current life. So she joins her boyfriend, who their relationship is, on the rocks is sort of an understatement. Let's say it's on jagged rocks hanging by a thread off a cliff. That sort of level of stability in their relationship. She joins him and his friends. Notable actors in that gang include Will Poulter and William Jackson Howe, I believe that's what his name is. I usually know him as Chidi Adegonye from The Good Place. Shout out to The Good Place, free plug, here you go. And they go to Sweden. They go and check out a Swedish communal festival for a tiny community called Midsommar, which, of course, if you've seen by the trailer, it's not all going to be fun and games. It's going to be very creepy, very weird, and in Australia it was rated R18+. So that means that advertising can be quite limited. It's when it's R18+, 18 years or older can only see this movie. It's usually a big thing. That's reserved for films like Hellboy, where it's super violent, or Wolf of Wall Street, which I ashamedly, I unfortunately have not seen yet. So I think the film is essentially a breakup movie, at least that's defined by Ari Aster, but I would also define it as a very artistic story of how a person overcomes their grief. Without spoiling too much of the film, the Midsommar Festival, as depicted by the film, depicts this Swedish pagan commune's festival to get rid of evil. And this commune is very, very fascinating because I'm not familiar with Sweden. I live in Australia, so sort of up the other end of the planet. They have, very different... We're introduced to their belief systems, to how they work. It's almost it comes off as like a documentary of sorts. Of course, then, comes the real disturbing stuff, which, I won't spoil for this movie review. I'll let you guys see it on your own accord. So, with an Ari Aster flick, of course, Ari Aster flick, this is his second film following 2017's Hereditary. It's very beautiful and it's very fascinating. Its use of lighting, the color themes of white, and the use of flowers. It's a very, very beautiful looking film. Even at its most slowest and dullest moments, you can still take in the immaculate costuming and the way that everyone looks and how beautiful and idyllic it looks. And Ari Aster tried to make this film mostly in daytime, set in a part of Sweden where it only gets dark for a few hours of the night. And he did that on purpose because most horror films take place at night, so, night's the most scariest time. Majority of the horror does take place in the daytime, but I almost feel like its most scariest moments are still in the brief moments when it is night, because nighttime is a mysterious time. It's low light. You don't have high visibility. Nighttime is scary because it heightens your senses. You're more susceptible to attacks. This comes down to sort of like animals and flight versus fight mentality. Ari Aster is trying to change that by showing a lot of scary stuff that happens during the daytime, and I think he does reach that to an effect, but it wasn't very scary for me. The film was quite enjoyable, but it felt like it was more. I was more interested in the more disturbing aspects of the film. So let me just put it this way. I'm going to see an R-rated film, which is always a big thing for me. It probably not means nothing for any of you guys. But R-rated films do not come to Australian cinemas that often. And the fact that it was not screening anywhere in my city, which is quite a big city with a lot of different theatre chains, made that only heighten my expectations for this film. I was expecting to see something truly fucked up. And there is definitely many fucked up moments in this film, but it just didn't hit the censoring note of its disturbingness to me. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's very disturbing, but I kind of want it to be more disturbing. And for me to say that is probably going to sound very disturbing to you guys. Oh, this review is a bit of a mess. So I don't think Midsommar was nearly as good as Ari Aster's first film, Hereditary, but this is by no means a bad movie. I think it's quite an interesting film, but it will not attract the main moviegoer film base. The 2 hour and 42 minute runtime might turn off some viewers from seeing this film, seeing as it's almost the length of Avengers Infinity War. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say about this film. Yeah, let me know what you thought about Midsommar. Thanks guys, see you around.